Nigerians living in South Africa are calling on the Nigerian government to engage with South Africa to guarantee their safety. They're making this request after an incident triggered a series of destructive events in Pretoria, South Africa's economic hub. Other African countries, including Ghana and Ethiopia, are also asking South African President Cyril Ramaphosa to take action.
The recent violence was reportedly sparked by an alleged drug dealer shooting and killing a taxi driver, which led to South African taxi drivers and locals instantly retaliating and taking the matter into their own hands. This has degenerated into diplomatic tensions between the two Africans' biggest economies, Nigeria and South Africa. Nigerians recently attacked South African businesses in retaliation.
All of us, we are very angry. That's why we are out today to protest that this should not be continued again. We have South African citizens inside this country. We leave them, we did not go. Their investments are so much here. They are here. We did not hurt them. Why must they hurt our people?
I am not in support of violence, because to me it's a form of violence. But one thing is this: Nigerians are the most accommodating people in Africa. That's a fact. For them to have reacted at this time, they seem to have been pushed to the wall.
But they are not alone. Other African countries from Ghana to Ethiopia and the African Union have called on South African President Cyril Ramaphosa to take action. Citizens from across the continent continue to voice their anger on social media, with some threatening retaliation as hundreds of University of Zambia students protested outside the South African High Commission.
I'm not happy with the behavior of the South Africans. Each and every time they want to wake up and start killing people. Enough is enough. Nigerians, Malawans are all Zambian, we're all Africans. We are not going to tolerate this nonsense. Enough is enough.
We are tired of being beaten every day. We're all Africa. Why must we be afraid to go to South Africa? Which South Africa has ever been beaten in Zambia? Which one? We want the ambassador to address us. We are tired. Enough.
Alleged as the cause of the attack.
Nigerian organizations also dismissed allegations that Nigerian nationals living in South Africa are involved in criminal activities.
We, the Nigerian student community in South Africa, are not participating in any form of crime as alleged as the cause of the attack, but are here to study and improve the African continent at large.
In recent years, South Africa has grappled with xenophobia. Refugees and migrants have had to defend themselves from violent attacks by some South Africans.
We further appeal to the African Union to engage the South African government to find solutions to this ugly demon of hatred of other Africans living in South Africa and ensure the safety of everyone therein. We call on all African migrants communities to respect the laws of our host nation and remain law-abiding.
Immigration to South Africa from across Africa and from parts of Southeast Asia picked up in the early 1990s, spurred by the end of the apartheid rule and the economic boom that followed. Ibrahim Shita, TVC News.
Let's talk some more about this developing story. Joining me now is social commentator Victor Ohai. I also have Executive Director Involve Africa, Wulabi Ibrahim, who is joining me from the United States now to talk more about the xenophobic violence in South Africa. Gentlemen, you're welcome. Let me begin with Mr. Ohai here with me in the studio. How do you view all the happenings that have occurred here in Nigeria in reaction to the violence in South Africa?
It is unfortunate. It is unnecessary, and I think it could have been prevented. This is what happens when you're not proactive, but you're becoming reactive. I'd like to illustrate with this. You know, people will treat, I'm talking about a case of like a husband and a wife. People will treat a man's wife the way the man treats his wife. If your government outside your shores, your embassy treats you like nobody, then obviously the country cannot respect you. You know that Americans, for instance, are famed or notorious or whatever for going out on a limb for their citizens. It doesn't matter what. And so because in many of our high commissions and embassies abroad, when our people are, even if they're criminals, they're first Nigerians, which means that they ought to be defended or given an opportunity to defend themselves. But because all the while, these embassies treat themselves like they're like a world unto themselves. That's why this has gone to this point. And besides, Nigerians have been crying all this while. There has been no response. And now we've resorted to self-help. It is unfortunate. It needn't have come to this point at all. If we had sent a strong message at the diplomatic level, and when they say, oh, your people are criminals here, we do not just accept and say, don't mind them, which is typically what our embassies do, we would not have gotten to this point.
Let me run your analysis so far with Ibrahim's. Now, what do you make about this self-help that we see occurring here in Nigeria? We've even seen the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Students issuing ultimatums now to South Africans living in the country to leave.
Yeah, I think to begin, the reaction Nigerians are giving here at home is fine, just that what we're resolved to is unfriendly and sends a wrong signal to the international community on how we're treating the effect of xenophobia on Nigerians in South Africa. It's fine to feel bad about the situation, but it's never okay to loot stores owned by Nigerians under the franchise of South African businesses. Because at the end of the day, what we're doing is that we're killing indigenous businesses and we're ruining entrepreneurs who are trying to make ends meet in Nigeria. So reacting to the issue is okay. It makes us citizens. It shows that we're genuinely Pan-African and we're concerned about the spirit of being Nigerian, the spirit of nationalism, and the fact that it's about the continent. But the reaction we're giving as citizens, particularly on the streets in Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, with what we can see, the lines on the international media is not friendly to us because the story is being picked at that of the wrong signals.
Okay,
however, I think
Ibrahim, kindly pause on that thought now. Let me also ask further, Victor Ohai. We've seen, or what are we seeing now? Tit for tat, looking at the closure of the South African High Commission, and to how far can this go?
Unless something is done quickly, this is not going to, it's not going to be very healthy, not just for Nigeria and South Africa, but for the spirit of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which was recently signed. Everything that's happening now is very much against the spirit of that agreement, which is still, the ink is still very fresh, the ink of the signatures, So in that spirit of Ubuntu, of Africanness, this is not right at all. And I expect that Ramaphosa to take serious action. I mean, the issue of closing down embassies, I can understand for security reasons. But if South Africa is also not careful, it's not just going to be a Nigerian thing. Many countries are taking the cue from Nigeria right now, in Zambia, in so many other countries. And what you might find out very shortly is what happened to the white apartheid rulers in South Africa will now play out against the blacks themselves. And if that happens, it will be rather unfortunate for this, it's not a young democracy, but for the young, if you like, black majority rule in South Africa. They are our brothers after all. Absolutely. And so we need to treat this. African Union needs to be proactive on this. I would expect, I don't know how they do it at that level, but I would expect an emergency meeting to be called quickly enough in the spirit of African brotherhood to deal with this as quickly as possible.
All right. Let me also get Ibrahim's final words now. What you would like to see happen before situations deteriorate?
I think one thing we need now is that we need a clear statement of action from the presidency. You see, what is happening on the streets of Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, and other states in Nigeria right now, people taking laws into their hands, is because the government did not come out early to give a plan of action, a statement of action. I will send an envoy we are tired of you can't say, I want to do this, do it and let's see. Nigerians are tired. Those that are in South Africa, they are not excited if you ask them also, because in trueness, the jobs they say they are taking are just petty trades. So they're not taking the major jobs. They're not taking corporate jobs. They're not taking institutional businesses. They're petty trades. So we need the Nigerian government to take a bold step and
Ibrahim
decide
Owolabi, thank you very much for sharing your perspective with us on TVC News. I must also thank Victor Ohai as well, for your contributions on TVC News.
Thank you very much.